The air in the room changes when a man realizes he has run out of time. It is not the panic of the body shutting down. It is something far colder, far more terrifying. It is the sudden, violently sharp clarity that the life he just finished living was not his own. You think you have time. You think the unease in your gut is just stress, just the byproduct of a modern world, a temporary glitch that a vacation or a new car or a better relationship will fix. But deep down, in the silence between your thoughts, you know the truth. You are sleepwalking toward a cliff. You are participating in a grand, intricate performance, reciting lines written by a society that does not care if you die hollow, as long as you die productive and compliant. The regret that destroys a man at the end is not about the mistakes he made. It is not about the risks that failed. It is the realization that he never actually lived. He merely existed as a function of the system. He was a battery for the machine, fed on the illusion of safety, sedated by comfort, and now facing the void, he realizes he traded his only spark of divinity for a comfortable cage. This is not a motivation. This is an autopsy of the living. Most men live in a state of quiet desperation. Thoreau said it, but you feel it. It is the low-level hum of anxiety that greets you the moment you open your eyes. It is the heaviness that no amount of sleep can cure, because it is not your body that is tired. It is your soul that is exhausted from the weight of the mask you wear. You have been conditioned to believe that the purpose of life is the avoidance of pain and the pursuit of pleasure. The system, this complex matrix of cultural expectations, economic slavery, and digital distraction, has sold you a lie. It tells you that if you follow the script, if you get the degree, the job, the spouse, the house, the retirement fund, you will eventually arrive at happiness. But look around you. Look at the men who have followed the script perfectly. Do they look alive, or do they look like well-preserved corpses, moving mechanically from one distraction to the next, their eyes glazed over with a dull, anesthetized panic? You feel a void, a gaping hole in the center of your chest. The system tells you this void is a sickness. It tells you to fill it with entertainment, fill it with food, fill it with drugs, with porn, with politics, with endless scrolling through the curated lives of others. The system offers you 1,000 different patches to cover the hole. But the twist, the terrifying and liberating twist, is that the void is not a problem to be solved. The void is not a defect. The pain you feel, that gnawing sense of meaninglessness, is not a symptom of mental illness. It is a symptom of health. It is your true self, screaming to be heard from beneath layers of concrete conditioning. If this resonates, consider subscribing. The system needs you to be numb. A numb man is a good consumer. A numb man is a predictable employee. A numb man does not ask dangerous questions. But a man who feels the void, he is dangerous. We must look to the philosophers who dared to stare into this abyss. Martin Heidegger spoke of das Man, the they, the anonymous crushing force of public opinion and social convention. Most of us do not live our own lives. We live the life of the they. We fear what they will think. We value what they value. We lose our specific, unique being in the world and dissolve into the gray mass of conformity. You are terrified of death, not because you love life, but because you have never begun to live it. Heidegger argued that only by confronting our mortality, by constantly living in the presence of our own inevitable end, can we snap out of the trance of the they. This is why the regret at the end is so bitter. It is the realization that you sacrificed your being for the they. You betrayed yourself to please a phantom audience that never really cared. Friedrich Nietzsche warned us of the last man. The last man is the ultimate product of the system. He is the man who has invented happiness. He blinks and says, "We have discovered happiness," while living a life devoid of risk, devoid of passion, devoid of the soaring heights and crushing depths that make a human soul vast. The last man seeks only comfort and security. He is small, he is safe, and he is utterly despicable. Are you becoming the last man? Are you trading your potential for a false sense of safety? Imagine a hospital bed, white sheets, the smell of antiseptic, the rhythmic beeping of a machine. This is where the bill comes due. When you are lying there, stripped of your titles, your bank account irrelevant, your social status dissolved, you will be left with only one thing, the memory of how you felt in your own skin. Did you burn? Did you bleed for something you loved? Or did you just endure? The tragedy is not that we die. The tragedy is that we allow the system to kill us decades before our hearts stop beating. We engage in a slow suicide of compromise. Every time you swallow your truth to avoid conflict, you die a little. Every time you stay in a job that drains your spirit because you fear the uncertainty of freedom, you die a little. Every time you choose the easy pleasure of the screen over the difficult work of creation, you die a little. The system is designed to be a morphine drip for the soul. It provides a steady stream of low-grade dopamine to keep you docile. It keeps you in a state of perpetual adolescence, seeking validation from external fathers, the boss, the government, the algorithm. Epicuro taught that we must not fear death, for when we are, death is not come, and when death is come, we are not. But the modern man does not fear non-existence. He fears the realization that his existence was wasted. Schopenhauer described life as a pendulum swinging between pain and boredom. The system capitalizes on this. When you are in pain, it sells you relief. When you are bored, it sells you distraction. It keeps you oscillating, never allowing you to stop in the center, in the silence, where the truth lives. You must understand that the comfort zone is a kill zone. It is where your spirit goes to decompose. If this resonates, consider subscribing. There is a seduction in the fall. It is easier to be a victim. It is easier to blame the economy, your parents, the politicians, the current state of the world. It is seductive to say, I have no choice, but you always have a choice. The choice is terrifying, which is why you avoid it. The choice is to take absolute radical responsibility for your existence. Jean-Paul Sartre called this condemned to be free. You are condemned because you did not create yourself, yet you are free because once thrown into the world, you are responsible for everything you do. This freedom induces vertigo. It is the dizziness of looking down into the canyon of your own potential. So you build guardrails. You build a cage of routines and habits to protect yourself from the vertigo of freedom. You call this cage my life. Let me tell you a story. It is not a unique story. It is the story of millions. There was a man who did everything right. He studied the subjects that promised a stable career, not the ones that fascinated him. He married the woman who looked good on paper, not the one who set his soul on fire. He bought the house in the suburbs that signaled success to his neighbors. For 30 years, he commuted. He sat in meetings. He nodded at the right times. He laughed at the boss's jokes. He anesthetized his boredom with alcohol on weekends and expensive vacations once a year. He told himself, I am doing this for my family. I am doing this for the future. Then, one Tuesday, at 54 years old, he felt a pain in his chest. He collapsed in the hallway of his office, surrounded by fluorescent lights and strangers. He survived, but in the ambulance, looking up at the ceiling, he didn't think about his 401k. He didn't think about his unfinished emails. He felt a horror so pure, it nearly stopped his heart again. He realized he didn't know the man who had been living his life. He was a stranger to himself. He had spent 54 years building a monument to a person who didn't exist. The regret wasn't that he hadn't worked harder. It was that he had worked so hard for the wrong master. He had been a slave to an image, a prisoner of expectation. Do not wait for the heart attack. Do not wait for the cancer diagnosis. Do not wait for the funeral of a friend to shake you awake. You must die now. I do not mean physical death. I mean the death of the false self, the death of the persona you constructed to survive in the system. The ancient mystics spoke of the dark night of the soul. It is a period of desolation, of stripping away. It feels like depression, but it is actually a spiritual detox. It is the process of your illusions dying. When the emptiness comes, do not run from it. Do not pick up your phone. Do not turn on the TV. Do not pour a drink. Sit in the chair. Stare at the wall. Let the silence crush you. The system wants you to panic. It wants you to scramble for a distraction. But if you hold your ground, if you stay in the fire of that emptiness, something miraculous happens. The false needs burn away. The need for approval turns to ash. The addiction to status crumbles. And what is left is the indestructible core of who you are. This is the transition from the they to the I. You must stop viewing your life as a linear progression toward a goal. That is the system's time. Linear time is a trap. It keeps you focused on a future that never arrives. There is only the vertical dimension of the now, the depth of this moment. You are afraid that if you step out of line, you will lose everything. You might lose the job that drains you. You might lose the friends who only like your mask. You might lose the respect of people who are asleep. But consider what you gain. You gain the only thing that matters: integrity. Integrity is not just honesty, it is structural wholeness. It means your actions, your words, and your feelings are aligned. It means you are not warring with yourself. The man who dies with regret is the man who lived in fragmentation. He felt one thing, said another, and did a third. He was torn apart by the tension of his own inauthenticity. If this resonates, consider subscribing. How do you begin? You begin by saying no. No is the most powerful word in your vocabulary. It is the sword that cuts the strings of the puppet master. Say no to obligations that do not serve your soul. Say no to entertainment that insults your intelligence. Say no to the voice in your head that says, you can't. You must reclaim your attention. Your attention is the currency of the 21st century. The system is a vampire that feeds on your attention. Every moment you spend outraged by the news, or jealous of an influencer, or distracted by a notification is a moment of life stolen from you. Take it back. Re-inhabit your body. The system wants you to live in your head in the abstract world of data and anxiety. Return to the senses, the feeling of cold water, the burn of muscles under weight, the taste of real food, the complexities of silence. This is not about becoming a monk. It is about becoming a warrior in a garden. It is about living in the world, but not being of it. You can still have the job, the money, the family, but you no longer derive your identity from them. You are no longer possessed by your possessions. You hold them loosely. You play the game, but you know it is a game. You are the player, not the piece. The ultimate rebellion against the matrix is to be happy without reason, to be joyful without consumption, to be at peace without validation. When you live this way, the fear of death diminishes. Why? Because you are already fully here. You have emptied the cup. You have not saved anything for the swim back. The man who is destroyed by regret is the man who saved himself. He saved his love. He saved his courage. He saved his truth for a perfect moment that never came. He guarded his heart so carefully that it atrophied. Do not save yourself. Spend yourself. Spend your love. Spend your anger. Spend your creativity. Exhaust yourself in the pursuit of what is real. Nietzsche spoke of amor fati, the love of fate. To love your life so completely with all its pain and joy that you would wish to live it over and over again, eternally, exactly as it was. Can you say that about your life right now? If you had to live this exact day, every day for eternity, would it be a heaven or a hell? If the answer is hell, you must change, not tomorrow, now. The walls of your prison are made of paper. The door has never been locked. You have simply been sitting there, waiting for permission to leave. There is no permission coming. There is no savior coming. There is no notification that will tell you, you are now free. You must authorize your own existence. The regret that destroys a man is the silence of the song he never sang. It is the book he never wrote, the business he never started, the girl he never spoke to, the mountain he never climbed. But mostly, it is the person he never allowed himself to be. The system wants you to die with a full bank account and an empty soul. Rebel, die with an empty bank account and a soul so full it overflows into the cosmos. Die with scars. Die with stories. Die knowing that you squeezed every drop of vitality out of the time you were given. The void is not your enemy. It is the womb of your rebirth. Step into it. The clock is ticking. The game is rigged. But you can still win if you redefine what winning means. Winning is not finishing with the most toys. Winning is waking up before the game is over. Do not let the end of your life be the first time you actually realize you were alive. But realization is only the first step. And it is the most dangerous step, because once you see the bars of the cage becomes unbearable. This is where most men break. They see the truth, the horror of their wasted potential, and they panic. They scramble back toward the comfort of the lie because the light is too bright. The system anticipates this. It knows that a moment of clarity is inevitable. It knows that late at night, or after a funeral, or during a quiet drive home, you will glitch. You will see the matrix code. So the system has prepared a second line of defense. It has prepared a labyrinth of false exits. These false exits are designed to look like freedom, but they are just larger, more decorated cells. The most seductive false exit is hedonism. The culture screams at you, if life is short, enjoy it. Eat, drink, travel, consume. It weaponizes the philosophy of carpe diem, twisting it from a call to presence into a call to gluttony. You try to fill the void with high-definition experiences. You book the all-inclusive resort. You buy the sports car. You chase the dopamine hit of a new romance. You curate a life that looks enviable on Instagram. You become what Kierkegaard called the aesthete. Kierkegaard described the aesthetic life as one governed by the rotation method, constantly rotating crops to keep the soil from exhausting, constantly rotating pleasures to keep away the boredom. The aesthete is terrified of repetition. He needs the new gadget, the new show, the new lover. But the aesthete is in despair. He is in despair because he has no self. He is merely a reflection of his environment. If the music stops, he ceases to exist. If the stimulation cuts out, he collapses into a dark, heavy melancholy. You know this cycle. You have felt the Sunday evening crash after a weekend of fun that left you feeling drained rather than restored. You have felt the hollowness of a sexual encounter that was purely physical, leaving you more isolated than before. This is not living, this is biological scratching. You have an itch, you scratch it, it bleeds, it scabs, and it itches again. The system loves the aesthete. The aesthete is the perfect consumer. He is never satisfied, therefore, he is always buying. He is trying to solve a spiritual problem with a material solution. It is like trying to quench thirst by drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become until your kidneys fail. The regret at the end of the hedonist's life is specific and cruel. It is the realization that he consumed the world but digested nothing. He tasted everything but was nourished by nothing. He spent his time killing time. Albert Camus saw the absurdity of this. He saw that the human heart demands meaning, but the universe offers silence. The clash between this demand and this silence is the absurd. The system tries to drown out the silence. It gives you noise, podcasts, notifications, 24-hour news cycles, the endless scroll. We are the most entertained generation in human history, and we are the most miserable. Why? Because distraction is not rest. Distraction is anesthesia. When you are scrolling, you are not there. You are in a suspension of consciousness. You are effectively dead for those hours. If you spend 4 hours a day on your phone, that is 28 hours a week. That is over 1,000 hours a year. Over a lifetime, you will have spent 15 years looking at a glowing rectangle, watching other people pretend to live. 15 years. Gone. Deleted. Imagine arriving at the end, facing the void, and realizing you traded 15 years of sunlight, of eye contact, of creation, for a blur of pixels that you can't even remember. This is the soft slavery. There are no chains on your wrists. The chains are neural pathways. You have been trained like a lab rat to press the lever for the pellet, and like the rat, you will press the lever until you starve. If this resonates, consider subscribing. You must understand the difference between pleasure and joy. They are opposites. Pleasure is external. It is something you take from the world. It depletes you. Joy is internal. It is something you bring to the world. It sustains you. Pleasure is the hit. Joy is the hum. The system sells pleasure. It cannot sell joy. Joy is bad for business because a joyful man needs nothing. He is complete. He can sit in an empty room and be overwhelmed by the glory of existence. He is unmarketable. To escape the trap of the false exits, you must stop running away from pain. The system teaches that pain is a mistake. It labels sadness as depression, anxiety as a disorder, grief as a pathology. It medicates them away. But by numbing the pain, you also numb the joy. You flatten your soul into a straight line. Nietzsche argued that to have a great soul, one must be capable of great suffering. The discipline of suffering, of great suffering. Do you not know that it is this discipline alone that has produced all the elevations of humanity hitherto? Your pain is not a mistake. Your dissatisfaction is not a mistake. It is fuel. The regret that destroys a man is the realization that he wasted his suffering. He suffered for nothing. He suffered for the commute, for the mortgage, for the approval of people he didn't like. He didn't use his suffering to forge a soul. He let his suffering grind him into dust. Think of the metaphor of the pearl. The oyster creates the pearl not out of comfort, but out of irritation. A grain of sand intrudes. It hurts. To deal with the pain, the oyster coats it, layer by layer, until it becomes something beautiful and permanent. You are doing the opposite. When the grain of sand enters, the doubt, the sorrow, the longing, you take a pill, you have a drink, you watch a movie, you spit the sand out, and so you produce no pearls. You remain a soft, vulnerable mollusk, waiting to be eaten. You must learn to metabolize the darkness. This is the shadow work Jung spoke of. You must go down into the basement of your psyche, where the monsters live, the anger, the shame, the forbidden desires, and you must invite them to the table. A man who has not integrated his shadow as a child, he is nice, he is polite, but he is weak. He is capable of no real virtue because he is capable of no real vice. He is harmless, not by choice, but by lack of capacity. The regret at the end comes when you realize you played a character that was too small for you. You squeezed your vast, chaotic, dangerous, beautiful humanity into a polite little box labeled good citizen. You suppressed your aggression, so it turned into passive aggressiveness and resentment. You suppressed your sexuality, so it turned into shame and perversion. You suppressed your grief, so it turned into a hard, cold cynicism. You became a ghost in your own machine. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Now let's talk about the midlife crisis. The system mocks it. It shows images of balding men buying convertibles and dating younger women. It turns it into a joke to strip it of its power. But the midlife crisis is not a joke. It is the second birth. The first birth is physical. You are born into a family, a culture, a religion, a time period. You are given a name and a script. For the first half of your life, you follow that script. You build the ego. This is necessary. You need a container. But around the age of 40 or 35 or 50, the container begins to crack. The script runs out. You have checked the boxes, and you are still empty. This is the moment of the second birth. The second birth is spiritual. It is the decision to be born again, not of flesh, but of will. It is the decision to crack the container and let the contents spill out. But most men refuse the second birth. They try to patch the cracks. They double down on the first birth strategies. They work harder. They get a facelift. They run a marathon. They try to prove they are still young, still valid in the eyes of the system. This is a refusal of the call. And the penalty for refusing the call is a slow spiritual necrosis. You begin to rot from the inside. You become bitter. You look at the youth with envy. You look at the old with contempt. You become rigid. To embrace the second birth, you must accept the decomposition. Nature teaches us everything we need to know. Look at the forest floor. Leaves fall. They decay. They are broken down by fungi and bacteria. This rot is not death. It is the prerequisite for new life. The soil is rich because of the dead things in it. You are carrying too much dead wood. Old beliefs, old resentments, old identities, I am an accountant. I am a husband. I am a failure. I am a success. Let it rot. This is terrifying because it feels like you are losing your mind. In a way, you are. You are losing the mind that the system gave you. You are entering the liminal space, the space between. The liminal space is the desert. It is where the old world has dissolved, but the new world has not yet formed. It is a place of silence and waiting. In this desert, you will be tempted to build a golden calf. You will want to cling to something tangible. Ideologies, conspiracy theories, rigid religious dogmas, anything to give you a sense of certainty. Resist the certainty. Certainty is the enemy of truth. Heidegger spoke of Gelassenheit, a releasedness, a letting be. It is the ability to dwell in the mystery without forcing an answer. Can you sit in the unknown? Can you trust the process of your own disintegration? The man who dies with regret is the man who demanded answers but refused to live the questions. He wanted a map, so he followed someone else's, even though it led him off a cliff. You must become your own cartographer. You are charting a territory that has never existed before because you have never existed before. This brings us to the concept of amor fati again, but deeper this time. It is not just accepting your fate. It is realizing that your fate is your masterpiece. Every trauma you endured, every rejection, every failure, these are not accidents. They are the raw material of your unique perspective. The system tells you that you are damaged goods. The truth is that you are a custom-forged instrument, but an instrument is useless if it is not played. You have been sitting in the case, preserving your shine. You are afraid of being scratched. You are afraid of being out of tune. Play the damn instrument. Make noise. Dissonance is better than silence. A wrong note played with conviction is better than a right note played with timidity. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Let us look at the future. The system sells you the future constantly. Work hard now. Play later. Save now. Retire later. Suffer now. Heaven later. This is the great temporal theft. It steals the only reality you have, the now, and sells you a fantasy that may never exist. Seneca, the Stoic, wrote on the shortness of life. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We procrastinate our living. We say, I will write that book when I retire. I will reconcile with my brother when things settle down." Things never settle down. Entropy is the law of the universe. Disorder always increases. If you are waiting for the perfect time, you are waiting for death. The man who dies with regret is the procrastinator of life. He didn't procrastinate work. He likely worked very hard. He procrastinated being. He treated his life as a dress rehearsal. He thought there would be a main event. There is no main event. This is it. This Tuesday afternoon, with the gray sky and the headache and the pile of laundry, this is the scene. The cameras are rolling. What are you doing with this scene? Are you sleepwalking through it? Or are you imbuing it with presence? The Japanese have a concept called Ichigo Ichiya, one time, one meeting. Every encounter, every moment is unique and will never be repeated. Even if you meet the same person in the same place tomorrow, you will both be different. The light will be different. The mood will be different. When you truly understand this, the boredom vanishes. How can you be bored when you are witnessing a fleeting, unrepeatable miracle? The system relies on your boredom to sell you entertainment. If you are fascinated by the texture of a wall, or the taste of an apple, or the complexity of your own breath, you are a bad consumer. You don't need the upgrade. You are free, but freedom is heavy. That is why Sartre said we are condemned to it. It is a burden to be the sole author of your meaning. It is easier to be a slave. Slaves get fed. Slaves get told what to do. Slaves don't have to think. Do you want to be a happy slave or a struggling master? Most men choose the happy slave. They choose the blue pill. They want the steak to taste juicy even if they know it is code. But you are reading this. You are still here. That means the blue pill isn't working for you anymore. You are spitting it out. You are ready for the red pill, but be warned. The red pill is not a power fantasy. It is not about becoming an alpha or dominating others. That is just another matrix trap, the trap of the ego. The red pill is the realization that there is no spoon. There is no status. There is no hierarchy. There is only consciousness experiencing itself. When you strip away the titles, the bank balance, the likes, the clothes, what is left? If the answer is nothing, then you are in trouble. But you are also in the perfect place to start. Nothing is the foundation. Nothing is the void. And as we said, the void is the womb. You must build a relationship with your own mortality. In Bhutan, the happiest country on earth, the culture encourages people to think about death 5 times a day. It is not morbid. It is clarifying. Keep a skull on your desk, literally or metaphorically. Let it grin at you while you worry about your emails. Let it mock your petty anxieties. You are worried about what your boss thinks. The skull asks, I am what your boss will be in a blink of an eye. You are afraid to ask her out? The skull laughs. Her beauty will be dust just like these bones. What are you waiting for? Death is the great sanitizer. It burns away the bullshit. It reveals what is essential. The regret that destroys a man is the realization that he feared the wrong things. He feared embarrassment more than he feared regret. He feared failure more than he feared stagnation. He feared being seen as weird more than he feared being invisible to himself. You have been trained to be a coward. The school system trained you to ask for permission to use the bathroom. The corporate system trains you to ask for permission to take a vacation. You are a grown man asking for permission to live your own life. Stop asking. This does not mean you become reckless. It means you become sovereign. You act from your own center of gravity. If you stay in the job, you stay because you choose it, not because you are trapped. If you leave because you are moving towards something, not just running away. The difference is intention. The difference is consciousness. You are moving from the role of the victim to the role of the creator. The victim says, life happened to me. The creator says, I happened to life. But creation requires destruction. You cannot build the new house until you tear down the old rotting structure. You have to be willing to look at the ruins of your life without flinching. Yes, you wasted time. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you hurt people. Yes, you were a coward. Own it. Eat it. Do not hide from your shame. Shame is a teacher. It shows you where you violated your own standards. But once you have learned the lesson, let the shame go. Do not carry it as a souvenir. The system wants you to be ashamed. Shame keeps you small. Shame keeps you quiet. Shame makes you buy things to cover up the feeling of unworthiness. Radical self-acceptance is an act of rebellion. To look in the mirror at your aging face, at your scars, at your failures, and to say, I am here, I am trying, I am worthy of my own love. This crashes the algorithm. If this resonates, consider subscribing. We are approaching the precipice now, the point of no return. You have 2 timelines ahead of you. Timeline A, you close this video script. You feel a momentary stir of emotion. You say, that was deep. Then you click on a funny cat video. You go back to work. You go back to the routine. You slowly forget this feeling. The fog rolls back in. 10 years pass, 20, 30, and then the hospital bed, the beep, the cold, and the scream in your mind that no one can hear. Timeline B, you stop. You stop everything. You turn off the noise. You go outside. You look at the sky. You take a breath that goes all the way down to your belly. You make a vow, not to me, not to the internet, to yourself. A vow that you will no longer betray your own soul. A vow that you will live the rest of your days with the ferocity of a dying man, because that is exactly what you are. The choice is yours. But remember, not choosing is also a choice, and it is usually the worst one. Let us dig deeper into the work. Not your job, the work, the great work, magnum opus. Your life is the sculpture. You are the sculptor, and you are also the marble. Michelangelo said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. You are encased in stone, the stone of fear, the stone of laziness, the stone of conditioning. The work is the chipping away. It is painful. The chisel strikes hard, sparks fly. Parts of you that you thought were essential will fall away to the floor. You might lose your arrogance. You might lose your need to be right. You might lose your toxic friends. It hurts to lose these things. They kept you warm. They kept you safe. But look at what is emerging, the form of a free man. A man who stands straight. A man who speaks the truth. A man who loves without transaction. A man who is not afraid to cry and not afraid to fight. This is the man who dies without regret. He may die poor. He may die alone. He may die young. But he dies whole. He has burned his fuel. He has arrived at the finish line with tires bald, chassis cracked, engine smoking, and a grin on his face. He didn't preserve the car. He drove it. The system wants you to keep the car in the garage, polish it, insure it. Worry about a scratch. Drive the car. Crash it if you have to. But drive it. The final realization of the dying man is often this: it was all a game. All the seriousness, all the worry, all the sleepless nights over money or reputation. It was all a cosmic joke. When you realize this, you can finally laugh. The laughter of the Buddha, the laughter of the sage. It is not a mocking laughter. It is a laughter of relief. You realize you were never in danger. Your ego was in danger, yes. Your body was in danger, yes. But you, the witness, the awareness, you are untouchable. You have been the sky watching the clouds all along. You thought you were the cloud, buffeted by the wind, dissolving in the rain. But you were the sky. The sky does not regret the storm. The sky contains the storm. Expand your consciousness to be the sky. This is the shift from existential dread to existential awe. Dread is, I am small, and the universe is big and meaningless. Awe is, I am the universe experiencing itself as a human for a brief, beautiful flicker. You are the universe's way of exploring itself. Do not bore the universe. Give it a good show. Give it drama. Give it courage. Give it love. The regret comes when the show was boring, when the protagonist refused to leave the village, when the hero refused to fight the dragon. You are the hero. You are the dragon. You are the village. Wake up.